being here today. I'm Dave Richards. I'm number 4 in the Pack of 5, and I wanted to share a few things, memories that I had with my sister June. First, I would describe her as a self-motivated, highly organized, multi-talented, perfectionist visionary, which always liked being involved. And I think probably have already got that concept from the others who have spoken. When I was growing up as a child, because of the age difference between us, all I remember is having 2 horse-crazed sisters that always played around with these smelly, stinky animals. And about the only benefit that was to me was that it provided an opportunity for the brothers to go down and with the 22 shoot the rats that used to come out of the barnyard. But my first vivid memory of June was when I came back from Vietnam. Young buck, 21 years old, came back, stationed at Fort Campbell, decided I was going to make some money in real estate. While I was stationed there, I went out and bought a house, and got to talking to her about it, and she says, "Oh, what, have you picked out your colors?" And I said, "Well, no, I haven't even thought about that." She says, "Well, aren't they going to give you the opportunity to pick out your colors?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I guess so." And I talked to the builder, and says, "Yeah, they just give us the colors you want, and we'll get it done." And so I got 4 plans, copy of the 4 plans, that I got from the builder, and I mailed them off to June, and she looked at it, and she sent me back this package, as she likes to do, is organize things and with the details and everything. And she had gone down to one of the paint stores, Sherwin-Williams, and picked out all the colors, had the paint chips in there, and organized all on the page of which room would be which color and all this kind of stuff. And I just obediently walked down to the old builder and said, "This is what I want," and he says, "Can do," and thought nothing more about it. And about a week or 10 days later, we were coming back from a 3-day weekend. We were just about ready to close on the house, and my buddy and I were coming back from visiting another buddy in another state, and it was still light. I said, "Hey, let's drive by the house and see if they've got the thing painted." And so here we are, we're driving down this rock road, and it was a new housing addition, and we pulled up to the driveway, and both of us just sat there. And I can't repeat here in this auditorium what my buddy said. But about the same thoughts were going through my mind at the time. And out of the corner of my eye, I caught the movement of my neighbor coming out of his garage. He had seen us drive up, and he was heading that way and heading toward us. And let me give you the picture that the house was white brick, white roof, but it had kind of a barn-type front that came out. And she had set that up as a normal barn-type red, paint, so it was painted red. But it was kind of a baby blue on the gutters and the downspouts. And some of you that are obviously laughing, you might know June, and you can't blame her entirely, because it may be a little bit hereditary if you knew my mom, but she liked bright colors. And so we're both sitting there in this car, and I can see my neighbor coming over toward me, and I was like, "Oh man, what am I going to say?" And of course, first thing out of his mouth is, "Oh, nice bright blue gutters you have there." And not even hi, hello, it was just the first thing he remarked, and it's like, "Well, yeah, nice, And so then we got out of the car and walked into the house. And went back into the master bedroom, and of course the master bedroom was this kind of deepish, purplish type thing, and bedroom number 2 was this bright green, and bedroom number 3 was a bright blue. And the bathrooms, I kind of went along with the same decor, and that was back in the days of shag carpets, and it had this blue-green twist shag in the bedrooms, and the golden shag in the living room and dining area, and everything. And we're just kind of walking around here looking, and it's like, oh, wow, wow, you know. And so it was a few months later, to keep peace with the neighbors, I think we repainted the gutter and the downspout, but we lived with the colors on the inside. But knowing June, she liked bright colors, and you just have to understand, like I said, she was a visionary. And today, it's amazing because you can pick up these, Miami Digest and these design magazines, and by golly, there she is. June's work, 30 years later. It took the world 30 years to catch up to her decor. So. Well, as the years went on, June got married, I got married, and we started our families. And June being June, she researches everything, likes to put everything together, organize everything. When she was pregnant with Jake, my wife was pregnant with Beth, and of course they talked all the time, and June was always sending us books and things like that. And I remember when Jake was born, they're about 8 months apart, so when Jake was born, my wife was still 6 months pregnant at that point. And we came home at Christmas. I was still in the military, and normally got to come home at Christmas time. Is when I took my leave. And we got to go out to the farm and stay there. And of course, all the design of the nursery and the colors of the nursery and all these things. And such an influence on us and the things that she was willing to share with us and things to do. And then even years later, when my son came along, which was 3 years behind Beth, he was the lucky recipient of many, many hand-me-downs from Jake's wardrobe, which was, because Jake was the center and focus of her life, she never spared anything for him. And again, as we got older, my daughter became a teenager, and she happened to be out in the yard playing one day, and she got bit by one of these horse bugs. And all of a sudden, she was interested in horses. And so she started taking riding lessons and was really interested in horses. And we were in Germany at the time, and she was taking these riding lessons. And I'm talking to my sister June on the phone, and it's coming up on Beth's birthday, and she says, "I want to give my horse Roan to Beth." And it's like, I was totally shocked, and I just couldn't understand. Next to Jake, Roan Oil, her horse, award-winning, prize-winning horse that she had for many years, she was willing to give that horse to my daughter as an encouragement. And that was June. And always willing to help out.
Amen.
And then about 1994, George Bush the First, if you remember, some of you will probably remember that he had a budget crisis, and he said no new taxes, and the way he was going to make good on that promise was reduce the military. So he let me know that my services were no longer needed, and I went into early retirement. And we moved to Greenville, South Carolina. And when we got there, my wife says, "Okay, now that you've finished playing Soldier Boy, what are you going to do for a real job?" And there's a little bit of a long story behind it, but I ended up starting a pool service business. Didn't know anything about it. Didn't know anything about business or anything else, but that's what I decided to do. And was talking to June one day, and of course June had owned her photography business, and she had worked as the secretary and just her other skills and personality. She says, "Well, let me come down and help you get going." Well, she left work on a Friday, took a week off, came down, stayed through Sunday, and in that week we worked almost day and night, and she helped me set up bookkeeping, helped me design advertiser flyers, and helped me put together the mailing list of all the pool owners from the tax records. And she was just given that way. She didn't have to do that, didn't ask her to do that, she just volunteered. And like you heard from Dee, she gets in there and she likes to be involved, and she likes to get it done her way sometimes. So, and then as time goes on, you kind of see another influence in, as well as my life, it was in her life, and what some may call today in the political correct circles, an evil person. There's this person who was an amateur radio operator, freedom-loving, gun-hugging, Second Amendment Constitutionalist American patriot, her older brother, that began to influence her way of life. And that influence has spread throughout the family. Some of you might know that there's 5 of us, and all 5 of us are amateur radio operators. And even brother-in-law is an amateur radio operator. Even her son Jake is an amateur radio operator. And even my mother, when she was in her 60s, maybe 70s, 60s, became an amateur radio operator. And so June being the